please register your participation by sending an email to info@rotarygainesville.org. Please join me in welcoming Pete Enwall to lead us in song and pledge.
So I don't know why everybody's standing up, but it's always good to be humbled now and again. It's good for the soul. And so I had that experience last week. I went to the doctor, and there was a nurse practitioner there who looks like she's about my age, and she's pretty good looking. I saw her license up on the wall. She got her practitioner license about the same time. That would be 2 years after her high school. And so I just took a guess, and I said, did you go to GHS? And she said, yeah. I said, I think I knew you in high school. She said, oh, what did you teach? You ought to try it sometime. Humility is wonderful. You ought to try it sometime. We're going to sing Acapulco, My Country, 'Tis of Thee. My country, 'tis of thee. Thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain, let freedom ring. Threw me off, sorry. Would you join me in pledging allegiance to our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was Brendan back there. I just want you to know, sabotaging. He really doesn't like that fellow's voice. Is the reason he did that.
That's the last time I'll try that. Sorry.
Hey, let's pray. Let's pray together. How fortunate, Heavenly Father, many of us here today have been blessed because we came from homes where our parents sent us out of the house to go to school, us to receive a good education in our neighborhood school. Our children are our future, and we gather here today to encourage and support those whose mission and vision is to continue to provide what is needed for what many of us have received from Alachua County schools. Expand our awareness of what is being done and what needs to be done to support the education process of our schools. These students are our future. We pray just now for our children, our teachers, our administrators, that they may be blessed as they pursue the fulfillment of their mission and vision. I pray in the name of our great Creator. Amen.
Thank you, Lori. We invite guests and visiting Rotarians to remain standing so we can get you introduced to our club.
Guests.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. I am very honored to have as my guest today Tia Brock-Paul, the Executive Director of the Education Foundation, and Kate Clement, also with the Edge Foundation. We're excited to tell you more about what they're doing today to help students.
My guest today is Dr. Nick. He is the new Product Development Program Manager with Ingersoll Rand. He's interested in Rotary and looking to join our club. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Nick.
Hello, Rotarians. My name is Bill Stasewitz, and I have my neighbor here from Turkey Creek, and he lived here for 31 years and previously moved back to Minnesota, and he's totally responsible for our cold weather. He's been here 2 weeks. He leaves tomorrow. Okay. Also, I have with me Harvey Baxter, and Harvey is a member of another Rotary Club, and he comes here quite often. He come here to hear Dr. Caton talk about his future. Over here behind us is Hayden, is John and Peggy Kirkpatrick, and John is a longtime Rotary guy, and his wife has sometimes been his assistant and keeps him in squared away. And I don't know where Helen's got her husband back there somewhere. I'll let her introduce that. Yeah.
Bob and Connie Crane from Iowa City, Iowa Club. We're glad to be here we come here the first 3 months every year, January, February, March, to get away from the cold, and we enjoy being here with your club. Thank you.
Scott Winsler, and it's my honor and great pleasure to introduce you to Virginia Grant, who is interested in perhaps joining our club. Virginia is an entrepreneur and a nonprofit organizer and a community member par excellence.
I'm Helen Gilstrom, and my husband Tom is here today, and he came only to see Bill in his yellow shirt. And his yellow shoes, yes.
Thank you all for joining us today. And speaking of Bill in his yellow shirt and yellow shoes, please welcome him to the podium.
Where's that new guy at? Right here? All right, okay. Best place about this club is the people. So I'm here to talk about Dr. Randy Caton. And what does love look like? Yes, I love is a very common expression. I love the Florida Gators, buffalo wings, rock and roll, Philadelphia cheesesteak, pizza, Pizza Hut pizza, and my bride, Yori. Love is often expressed as a feeling, good feeling, that all of us want to experience more and more often. But what does love look like? Well, imagine you're a poor, very poor farm worker living day to day in Guatemala or Honduras with a terrible toothache. You know that to get it pulled would cost almost a week's pay. You'd have to travel a long way. And to get over Novocaine would be twice as much, but it hurts really bad. But you hear that a dentist from America is coming to a village close to yours, and you can get both for free. Too good to be true? Nope. You show up with a pretty long line, but eventually you make it to your way to the front of that line, and then you see him. Well, first you might hear him. He's beardless, skinny, and like Santa Claus, and he's singing in both Spanish and English. He is surrounded by happy ladies, Judy, Nancy, Frances, Helen, Peggy, with beautiful smiles. That good doctor glows, and if you look closely, you can see the aura about him and the love pouring from his heart. He sneaks the needle and numbs your tooth, pulls it, and then in short order, one of the friendly ladies sends you on your way with medicine to soothe the pain after the Novocaine wears off. Dr. Caton is one of our legendary leaders, a Service Above Self award winner, and with 45 years of dedicated service to this club and all of humanity, here to update you on what he's doing, Dr. Caton.
Thank you, Bill. That was totally undeserved and mostly untrue. I was born in Pensacola, Florida, 80 years ago. My mother and daddy met at the University of Georgia. World War II broke out. They had a blind date. He was going to Atlanta with his fraternity brother from the Pi Ka fraternity, and my Chi Omega future mother met him for the first time. He joined the Navy instead of being drafted, became a pilot, later a flight instructor. And during the flight instructor time, I came along. I grew up kind of all over the world, from Hawaii to New Jersey, ended up in Florida. And I went to school when I was living in South Georgia to Emory at Oxford, which is now called Oxford College of Emory University. Then I went to Emory Dental School, followed by 2 years in the Navy Dental Corps, treating the Marine base at Camp Pendleton, getting these guys ready to go to Vietnam. And boy, that was some experience. And I got interested in oral surgery, did my residency at the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, and then started looking for a place to live and practice in Florida, and found John Coker, a former Rotarian, who, by the way, is 98 years old now. And we decided we could work together. And for 11 years, we worked together, and then he retired. And during that time, I joined Rotary. Thing back in those days, there was only one person in the club in each profession or each business. That was how Paul Harris' idea started that way. And in my time at Rotary, I got up to be president in 1986, 87. And in 87, you may remember, that was the year that women were allowed to become Rotarians. And I found out recently that it took them 10 years of working and actually going to the Supreme Court for that to happen, and I didn't know that. During my time in Rotary, the Wild Game Feast was developed. We went to Brandon, Florida to see what they were doing with their Wild Game Feast. And Bob Kelly and others, and I tagged along, and the Wild Game Feast started, and it was very, very successful. And then we finally decided maybe we should let the ladies come. And the ladies didn't want to come because of all that fried, fatty food. And so at the time, Phil Ankerman and I were vegetarians, vegan vegetarians, in fact. Those were a long 7 years. Ooh. And so we decided to start a veggie booth, but it was a booth. Now it's a shack. My 3 minutes are up, but I'll go a little bit more. That was a fast 3 minutes. Turn off the clock. That has evolved into a veggie shack, and it's gone from us trying to make vegetables to the Eastside Culinary Arts program doing that. About my mission trips, John Kirkpatrick had gone on a mission trip with a dentist from Orlando, I think, and he was so busy, he taught John to take out the easy, loose teeth. And so John became an amateur oral surgeon. And I have to add, a damn good one. By the time I got him as his mentor, we worked together pretty nicely for, I lost count of how many trips we went on. It was just so much fun. Everybody says, "Oh, you're so wonderful to do that." It was just a joy for us to do that. And so we continued that until I got to the point of thinking, we could do a mission here in Gainesville. There are people here who can't afford to come to see me in my private practice. You wouldn't believe how much I charged. When I started with John Coker, we were charging $3 a tooth. No, John Coker was charging $3 a tooth in 1960. When I joined him, it was $15 a tooth. And nowadays, it's a lot more than that. But so we looked around. I looked at the Salvation Army. That wasn't going to work. And went to GCM, Gainesville Community Ministry, and learned all about the marvelous work they do. And there was some space, and so we started a clinic. And that was some time ago. And I practiced oral surgery in Gainesville with some wonderful people for a lot of years, retired in 2017. My time in Rotary has been the perfect place to practice the phrase service above self. And there's just so much good that this club does, and so many good people in this club who've done such wonderful things, and they've inspired me. I hope we continue to do that sort of thing. And I appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Dr. Caton, thank you for sharing your story with us. And Bill, thank you for bringing these stories to our club. Now, please join me in welcoming Jay Nordquist to the podium.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Doctor. So I have the honor and the privilege today to recognize 3 new Paul Harris Fellows. Now, before I do that, I figured it'd be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the Paul Harris Fellow and why it's important to our club and why it's important to Rotary in general. So consider this as a refresher. And Brendan, are you going to be able to get the slides up? All right, so the way the Paul Harris Fellow works is with a $1,000 donation, you can become a Paul Harris Fellow. And you can do that over time. You can donate whatever you're able to do over time, but when you reach a $1,000 donation, you basically become a Paul Harris Fellow. And for me personally, it is one of the pinnacles of being a Rotarian. And I know for a lot of people in the room, it's the same. I want to tell you a little bit about how I got to know about the foundation. So when you contribute to the foundation, these are the different areas that you can do. And it is the Rotary Foundation that you're contributed to, the International Foundation. So any of these causes you can contribute to. But I want to tell you a little bit about the story, about the history, how I came to know about the foundation. So if you would go to the next slide. Actually, what that is, that's showing some of the Paul Harris Fellows. We're in very good company. President Jimmy Carter was a Paul Harris Fellow, and you see some others on there. There's over 1.8 million Paul Harris Fellows in the world as of right now. And, you know, Rotary, the foundation as itself is just an amazing organization in terms of the dollars that you contribute. You know they're going where they need to go. We've achieved 100% 4-star charity rating from Charity Navigator since 2008. So when you donate to the foundation, you know your dollars are doing good. All right, now, here comes the story. So, Chester Yates. Who in the room knows Chester Yates? Jay. All right, now, out of all you, who went to lunch with Chester Yates? So I became a Rotarian in the 1990s. And came into the club. Parker Lawrence was my sponsor. And I very quickly got to know Chester Yates. And you see Chester here in his younger days and in his older days. He looked more like he did on the right there when I met him. He was in his 80s at the time, I believe. He was born in 1910, and he passed away in 2000. He became a Rotarian in the Gainesville Club in 1947. He was our president of this club in 1951. He had a passion for Rotary and had a passion for the Paul Harris Fellow. And so when you became a club member, you got an invitation from Chester Yates to go to the Heritage Club, which was a lunch club that was up in the Siegel building. And I felt very important. I was going to lunch with Chester Yates, going up to the Heritage Club. And it was an amazing day that I will never forget. And he talked about the Rotary Foundation and talked about the importance of the foundation and the good that it did. And said that there was kind of an unwritten rule within Rotary that we would all contribute to it. And the minimum donation was recommended to be $25 a quarter. So $100 a year. So I think we've all had that talk, all the people that raised their hands, and we were obviously convinced immediately that this is what we should do. So that was my introduction into the Rotary Foundation. I've been contributing to the foundation ever since. So what I'd like to do now, I'd like to bring Hoss Adams up here, and he's going to introduce a true Rotarian who also did some magical things with Paul Harris Fellow here for our club. So let me introduce Hoss.
15 years ago, this club, which I believe at the time had 280 members, and the president at that time decided that we needed to be a 100% Paul Harris club, which in order to achieve that, we had to get everybody above the $1,000 level. The president at that time took that on as a project and we achieved it. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what it's like as a Paul Harris Fellow. A past president, 09 and 10. Come on up. Yeah, here he is. Tony Domenech.
Thank you, Hawes. Thank you, Jay. Well, I don't get nervous. It's great seeing you. I had to talk with Chester also. I thought he was going to sell me New York life insurance policy, and I wasn't a buyer. And I had that talk, and I was nervous during the talk, I guess, because I thought he was going to, at some point, drop it. You need to buy this $100,000 policy or whatever. And it was about Rotary, and it was about becoming a Paul Harris Fellow. And so I told him, I'll do that. I will become a Paul Harris Fellow. But I will name my wife a Paul Harris Fellow first. And it was a way for me to tell Lynn how much I loved her, how much she had meant to me since 1964, since we met in high school, in a way that I had never been able to do before. I can't do those kind of things. I can talk, I can speak. I'm having trouble right now, but I can do that. But I don't like intimacy at all, and I could have never told things that I told her in front of the club a bunch of years ago. And it was neat. And then did the same thing for Joseph. It did the same. John helped me with Joseph. Because we were talking about it one day by the pool. And I said, I want to name Joseph a Paul Harris Fellow. Well, I'll help you. And then I named Jocelyn a Paul Harris Fellow. I've done a lot of them because it is my opportunity to tell someone how much I love them. We did Parker Mickle. Parker was Joseph's doctor for his entire life and got the name Parker a Paul Harris Fellow. And Brent, in a way to get somebody there, named Shelley a Paul Harris Fellow that same day. So for me, we understand that Jay did such a wonderful job of telling you about the foundation. And it's great. I mean, that's really what it goes for, and that's really needs to be done. But for those of you who are not a Paul Harris Fellow, I'm going to encourage you to find someone you care about, has made a difference in your life, is making a difference in your life, and name them a Paul Harris Fellow. I know we have a time limit. I got to tell you this. Today's the day we lost our son, back in 2008. And I feel so good being back here with Doug and people that I've seen that for so many years, and I haven't been here. It's comforting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Tony. We'd love to have you back in the club. So you're definitely good people, and we'd love to have you back. So Chester Yates, amazing individual. So we are a 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club. That's something that will never be taken away from us because of the efforts of the during the presidency of Tony's year. But we are no longer a 100% foundation giving club, and we can do that. Challenge the club to look at doing this. So what that means basically is we would achieve 100% participation. That means that everybody's contributing to the foundation in some way, a minimum donation of $25. And then as a club, we have 200 members. As a club, on average, $100 donation to the foundation. So if you take round numbers, if you just take the $100 per person times 200, that's $20,000 that's going to the foundation. And that's significant dollars. They add up in a hurry. $25 a quarter, what Chester said, and again, that was back in the 90s. We've had some inflationary pressures, I would say, over the years, as we all know. So it's still $1,000 to become a Paul Harris Fellow. It was started back in 1957, and it's still that way. So I would encourage all of you to contribute in some way. You know, we understand that everybody has their own means, and we're not expecting people to go beyond their means. But this is something that is important, and having an opportunity to become a Paul Harris Fellow. So we would encourage all of you to do that, and we would like to see if we can, again, achieve this goal of becoming a 100% foundation giving club. So with that, I'd like to go to the next slide. We want to introduce our 3 newest Paul Harris Fellows. We're going to bring them up to the stage. That's Amber Miller, Cynthia Brochu, and Marion Colburn. If you all 3 would come up to the stage. And Haas, I think you're going to help me. So, first of all, we want to congratulate you. But it's not just a congratulations, it's also a thank you. You have contributed over $1,000 to the foundation, and you've made a difference to people's lives. And so for that, we are thankful. We do have some medallions that we're going to put on top of you. So you're going to be crowned as Paul Harris Fellow. We got 3 of them over here. Haas is working his magic over there. And then we'll hand out the pins and the certificates. We'll do that kind of off to the side. So if we can just do the medals, because we do need to get onto our program. Is there anybody that can take a picture? Thank you again, ladies. And I would challenge the guys out there, because obviously we have 3 ladies that became Paul Harris Fellows, so we're going to see some guys up here next time. Thank you very much, everybody.
And now please join me in welcoming our president, Ryan Thompson.
Good afternoon. Welcome, members and guests. Pete Enwall, I understand you were recognized by the 8th Circuit Bar at the luncheon the other day, so congratulations on that. We still need help with the student speech contest. As you know, Mike Conroy has led that for years. He needs assistance, and time is running short, so I plead that anybody that's interested in that, I know everybody loves that program. We're really amazed at the talent of these young individuals and the effort that they put in this contest. So please reach out to me or Mike Conroy so we can get that moving. The Rotaract, Young Professionals Rotaract, next Tuesday evening at First Magnitude, they're doing a new member drive. I strongly encourage you, if you have any young professionals, 25 to 35 age range that you'd like to get introduced to Rotary. You know, they are extremely active. They do a service project once a month. They do a social once a month. Please recommend that they attend that meeting. And then, let's see, service above self. Linda wanted me to remind everybody that the deadline for nominations is February 14th. So if there's somebody that you would like to recommend for that, please let Linda know. And then the dictionaries. So thank you to everybody that came out. We had about a dozen of you that helped us put the labels on over 2,000 dictionaries for our third graders in Alachua County. That was a lot of dictionaries. And then thank you to JT for helping get those distributed. They're all either delivered or scheduled to be. So thank you, JT, for that help. And at this time, I'd like to invite Lauren Elliott to introduce today's speaker.
Well, what a beautiful day to be at Rotary. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Lauren Elliott, and fellow Rotarians, as we learned last week from Leah from Peak Literacy, providing our local students with equitable access to higher education and literacy programs can go so far to provide brighter tomorrows for all. As a board member for the Education Foundation of Alachua County, it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Tia Brock Paul. She is the executive director for the Ed Foundation, an organization she has passionately served for the last 10 years. As executive director, Tia oversees all 3 of the foundation's program initiatives, including the Senior Scholarship Program, the Take Stock in Children Program, and the Catalyst for Change Teacher Innovation Grant Program. In fact, Tia is an alumna of the Take Stock in Children program, giving her a unique passion for her work. In addition, Tia and her team, Kate is here with us today, also plan and execute their special fundraising events, including Teacher of the Year, which was held last Thursday evening, and the upcoming Education Gala, which is scheduled for February 21st, mark your calendars, at the UF Hilton. On behalf of everyone at the Ed Foundation, thank you to this Rotary Club for your generous sponsorship of this year's Ed Gala event. We hope to see you all there. I'm sure you can see Kate and Tia afterwards for tickets. Now, please help me welcome Tia to the Rotary today. Tia.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me. Lauren, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And thank you so much for your support of the Education Foundation. Last year, Linda was able to come to our holiday luncheon, and we celebrated folks that had had scholarships with us for more than 15 years. And one of those being the Joseph A. Dominich the third Memorial Scholarship. So thank you so much for that support. And that's how our foundation got its start. And so as he brings up the PowerPoint here, you can see that we support the Alachua County Public Schools, and that we have the 3 programs that Lauren mentioned: Senior Scholarships, Take Stock, Catalyst for Change, and then also the Teacher of the Year program. And then starting off with senior scholarships, this is how our foundation got its start in 1986. There were a group of educators through the county that wanted to see their students go on and receive a post-secondary education. And so they came together, and that first year they raised $12,000 to award to seniors here in Alachua County. Any senior can apply for this program and be eligible for funding. This year, we are excited to say that we're awarding $151,000 to 81 students. So we're really excited about that. We have a big event in May where we recognize both our senior scholarship recipients and our Take Stock scholars. And usually it's about $700,000 in college scholarships. And the 2 schools that get the most funding are our local schools. Most of that funding is going to educate students at Santa Fe College and the University of Florida. And so you can see here some of our past recipients and some of the scholarships that we've had at the foundation. These scholarships are sponsored by individuals and families that want to support past educators, also in memory of a loved one, and then also businesses and Rotary and civic organizations. So we are very grateful for the support that you've provided over the years. This is some information, the Senior Scholarship Portal. If you do know a high school senior, currently the portal is open on award spring. It will close February 17th. This is a nice opportunity for our seniors because it's a one-stop shop. Students can come, they apply, and then the portal automatically tells them which of the 81 scholarships they're eligible for, and then their name is in the hat for that scholarship. And then our sponsors are able to help select the students. They get to pick their top 3, or if they're awarding more than one scholarship, they'll send a few more names. And we really try to do our best to spread the wealth. So trying to get those 81 scholarships to 81 different students here in Alachua County. So that is some information about that. They are need-based, merit-based, and activity-based. And I really love this scholarship and the donors, because this is one way that we get to work with them one-on-one, and they get to set the criteria for their scholarship. Measuring impact. So one thing that we like to do at the foundation is really get an understanding of how our programs are making an impact, not just giving dollars out or, in that way. Of course, we want to support education, but one of the neat things about this is that, when you can motivate a student. So 86% of our students were able to share with us that going through this process really motivated them in their final semester to work harder, to know that there was something at the end, a little carrot, that they had an opportunity, and that just motivated them. And that's something that is really encouraging. Know that a post-secondary education is not cheap. And so it also has really, for 100% of those students, eased the financial burden on paying for college. This is how you can set up a senior scholarship. We do have pass-through opportunities, so you can do a 1-year commitment of $1,000, and then there is a $150 fee that is associated with it just to run the portal that I was just explaining about. Staff time, putting programs together like the one on your table and the program that's on March 8th. So those are that's what those funds go towards. It is a minimum of $1,000 to start a scholarship, or you can start a fund at the foundation. And we do invest the funds so that way they grow over time. And so I know I heard some DHS class of 1964 individuals here, and so they have a fund with us and award out funds through the foundation. And so that's another way you can come together as a collective and support local students. And then take stock in children. I'm going to go through some of this, but ask Kate to come up and talk about our volunteer opportunity here as our volunteer coordinator. But Take Stock in Children is a mentoring and scholarship program for low-income at-risk youth who are in grades 6 through 12 to be able to come into this program. They do have standards that they have to already have met, having a 2.5 GPA, wanting to go to college, that's something, or receive a technical education certificate of that sort. And then they come into the program and they receive a mentor. So we're always looking for mentors, and Kate's going to talk about that. And then when they graduate, they receive a Florida prepaid scholarship. And then they're able to go to college and pursue their education, whatever major or field they want to go into there. We have 100% graduation rate. We've had that for the last 3 years with the 3 classes that we've graduated, and then we have received gold level performance for keeping the KPIs. This is supported by the state legislature, so there is matching dollars here. We raise about $38,000 on a local level. The state matches that to give the students their scholarships, and then we have to bring students in the program and do that annually. And for keeping up with our KPIs, we are receiving the top level awards for our program performance. Last year, we brought in 66 new students into the program, and overall, we've supported about 1,300 students here in Alachua County through this program. So I'll let Kate come talk about mentor recruitment.
Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Good. So my name is Kate Clement, and I am the mentor coordinator for our program, Take Stock in Children. And so like Tia said, this is an incredible program for middle school and high school students that are low income, at-risk youth, and despite all of that, they are doing very well academically in school. In this program, they gain a mentor, and then after they finish high school, they will earn a 2-year Florida prepaid scholarship to any college here in the state of Florida. So coming up, we have 55 new students that are coming into our program very soon. We just finished our student application process just recently. And so in about 2 weeks or so, we're going to officially put the numbers out, and we have 55 new students into our program. So we need 55 new mentors for our program. So this is a year-round mentor recruitment process, and mentors meet with their scholar just twice a month for 30 minutes. It's at school. So at the school, you just meet them twice a month for 30 minutes, and you just get to know one another. This is a third-party adult friend in a child's life that isn't their parent, this isn't their teacher, this is just somebody that is looking for support, just unconditional support throughout their academic career into high school and then going off into college. Yes. So I know that I just talked about 55 new students, but sometimes mentors have to drop from the program. Either they're moving, they're having kids of their own, they got a promotion at work and are far too busy. So sometimes the kids that we currently have in our program, their mentors drop, and so we need new mentors. So we're always looking for new mentors. And this is the number that I have right now. I have 9 students in our program currently that need mentors right now. And we go as far as Newberry High School, as far as Hawthorne Middle and High School, Santa Fe High School, and everyone in the middle. So these are my amazing kiddos right now that need mentors. And there's some amazing people in this room that I just might encourage. And if you want to talk more about it, you can scan this QR code right over here and it'll take you through the entire process, and then we'll chat. Who knows? Another amazing way that you can get involved with Take Stock in Children is being a group presenter. So every Tuesday, I'm your host for our group sessions. Tuesdays from 4:30 to 5. It's a 30-minute presentation on anything that you think would be beneficial for our kiddos. We have about 20 to 30 students that come into our Zoom meetings every Tuesday, and I've had financial literacy presentations. I had a beekeeper once. That was really cool. So anything that you think, any life experiences that you've experienced that you think would benefit our kids in learning, any of it, I'm ready to take it on. So that is another amazing opportunity. And we have group sessions from today until May 22nd. And you can scan that QR code if you want to sign up and be a presenter. All right. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. And this is our last program. As Lauren shared, we had the Teacher of the Year program. So how we also support teachers is through Catalyst for Change, which is our innovative grant program for Alachua County Public School teachers to be able to apply for $2,000 to $5,000 to do something innovative in the classroom. So it could be putting a kiln out at High Springs because they're the only middle school that doesn't have one, so students can learn art history. It could be putting drones and rovers and scientific calculators over at Howard Bishop, or it could be taking students from Wiles Elementary to go see the ocean for the first time and going over to Cedar Key. So it's really a great opportunity for our teachers to be able to engage their students on hands-on learning. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And the same thing with Take Stock is that it comes with a dollar-for-dollar match from our legislator. Our legislator, we raise $70,000 privately here. The state matches that. So then we're able to award out $140,000 to teachers to do innovative things and also to participate in professional learning opportunities. And so this cycle usually happens at the beginning of the school year. This year we have awarded 20 grants to teachers, and that will impact almost 6,000 students and 300 teachers through this one program in a 1-year time frame. I already went over that information. And then, so Catalyst for Change, talked through this already. And this is our professional development opportunity. And so Elevate Ed is a conference for teachers led by teachers. And so they are able to share best practices about what they're doing in their classroom that's working to move the achievement needle for all of our students. And so they come to this conference on the last day of post-planning. It's optional. They don't have to show up, but we had a waiting list of 30 teachers last year. So it's really beneficial. And so if you are a retired educator or an educator in the building and have something that might benefit local teachers, would love to talk to you and connect with you about this opportunity that we have. So it's really a wonderful way that we can spread best practices throughout our school district to all of our 28,000 students. There is an opportunity to volunteer here, serving on our Catalyst for Change Review Committee that you could be a part of in helping us award the funds that I talked about earlier. And then just ways that you can support the Education Foundation. These lovely Support Education license plate is a way that we receive funding through our state, through the Consortium of Florida Education Foundations, Take Stock, of course, employee giving campaigns, and also becoming a monthly donor to allow for local lasting impact. And these is our board of directors here. So these are members in our community that are helping us to, pursue, make our mission happen. And then Lauren already shared about our education gala that's happening on February 21st. And then if you've never heard of the Amazing Give, it's a day of giving in our community. And we are pairing that with 30 years of Take Stock in Children, 30 years of mentoring and scholarships for students and raising funds for future students to be able to participate in this program. So there's information there. Here's my information and Kate's as well. If you want to take a picture and get in touch with us, we'd love to hear from you. And then there are some of our annual reports that are on the table that you can take a look at. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having us. And I'll be here until the end.
Tia, we have time for a few questions if you don't mind. Yeah, terrific.
Any questions, raise your hand, please.
I'm John Gregory, and since the schools have a problem now with people getting in, how do you get in to the schools?
Oh, I see what you're saying, because they have gates and you're talking about the fenced-in areas and stuff like that? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm thinking about if you want to get into the school, you have to have permission by applying downtown in order for you to get into school. Now, how do we get into school if we volunteer?
You want to volunteer? Yes, absolutely. I actually work on the same campus as our volunteer coordinator, Kelly Costamo. And so you just have to fill out an online form and select what school you want to volunteer at. It'll also provide you with a plethora of different opportunities that you can mentor for. So be happy to give you my business card. And if you just reach out to me, I'll make sure you can get the application and we can get you connected.
I was curious about the Zoom call that you talked about. What is the age of the kids that are on that call?
They're middle and high school students that are in our Take Stock program, yes. So.
Questions?
Thank you for what you do for our future. The scholarships, are they just for seniors, or can they, if they're a freshman in college, or can they reapply?
So we do have some of the scholarships that are reoccurring, but the student does have to apply during their senior year for those opportunities. So right now we don't offer like scholarships to current college students, but we try to make sure our students are aware of other opportunities that are available.
All right, one more question, anybody? Yeah, he counts as 2 questions every time, but.
No, I just want to say that I love your virtual one. I presented twice. So if you want to present, it's a great program to the students. So mine is a comment.
Right. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Tia, thank you. I want to present you with this certificate on behalf of you speaking with us today. We're going to make a donation to the Child Center for Early Learning. Thank you very much. Our speaker for next week is Saul Kamela with the Matheson Museum. I hope I pronounced his last name right. The quote of the day: if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with the mosquito. That's the Dalai Lama. The Rotary Reading Safari drawing number is 212-212. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. I know, I'm glad it did.